I have already made a video in the past about AES50 and input-output sharing between different consoles and different stage boxes. However, in this video, I'm going to show you how to connect two consoles together for a higher channel count. So 64 channels, full processing, plus 12 aux channels that only have a 4-band EQ. And whether you're using stage boxes or not, it doesn't really matter. The concept is the same. But let's just assume that you are using stage boxes. Here's how you connect them. Stage box 1, AES50A, to mixer 1, AES50A. Stage box 2, AES50A, to mixer 2, AES50A. Then mixer 1, AES50B, to mixer 2, AES50B. You want to send your main left-right from the first mixer to the second mixer through AES50. And I'm gonna also show you how to do this on the Mixing Station app because you can do user routing on your phone, unlike the official Midas app. Okay, so let's get into it. What you're gonna do is send the main left-right of the first console onto two AES50 channels. Now, this is done by default for you, by the way. So if you go to the routing and you go to AES50, by default, AES50 1 to 16 is routed to out 1 to 16, which is on the out page. So these are the outputs, and on 15-16, you have your main left-right post fader. Now, if you want to use all 16 outputs on the first console for monitors, you can do that. You can assign 15 and 16 to bus 15 and 16, and then you would have to go to the alternate page to send the main left-right there. So let's say alternate 1 gets main left and alternate 2 gets main right, and I'll right-click on it and do it post fader because I want all the EQ and compression and insert, if I have an insert on the main left-right, to be coming through to the other console. So I'll do post fader, and you gotta remember on which AES50 channel your main left-right is. So if you have it on alternate 1, 2, then you go back to the AES50 page. It will be on alternate 1, 2, so it's 33 and 34 of AES50B. But for the sake of simplicity, let's just keep it as it is by default. So on the out page, main left and main right is 15, 16. So it will also be on channels 15 and 16 of the AES50. And that's it for the first console. We are sending the main left-right out of AES50B, 15 and 16.
Let's go to the second console now.
And go to the inputs. If you have a stage box, you would get your inputs from AES50A. If not, then you would get them from the local inputs. But let's look at the aux channel. You have aux in remap. I'll click on this and select user in 1 to 6 and then go to the user in tab. And remember, where was the main left-right of the first console coming from? On which AES50 channel? It was coming on AES50B, channel 15 and 16, right? So I'm going to select AES50B, the block of 9 to 16, on the first block of user inputs. And I'm going to assign user input 1 to AES50B 15 and user input 2 to AES50B 16. And since you don't want to waste any of your precious normal channels, we will put the main mix of the first console onto an aux channel on the second console. So I'm going to select aux number 1, go to channel, stereo link to aux number 2, and put it at unity. And the whole mix from the first console will be on aux 1 and 2. So I'll rename this to mix left and mix right. So right now, if I go to the config page of that aux, you can see it has AES50B, 15, and 16. Cool, that's it. But you still have to assign the other auxes to their physical inputs in order to use them. So I'll go back to the routing page, and still on the first block of user inputs, I'll select the aux in section, and I will assign input 3 of the user inputs to aux in 3, 4 to 4, 5, 6. Now the auxes 3, 4, 5, 6 get their inputs from the local quarter-inch jack on the back of the console. And by the way, you can still use the USB left and right because this is aux 7 and 8 effectively. So you can assign the input of USB left-right to something else. Select it, go to the config page and click here. And since we remapped the aux inputs, we cannot put aux 1 and 2 on the USB channels. However, you can put the analog inputs. So you can plug, for example, something in the local XLR in 1 and 2, and these inputs will be coming into USB left-right. So you can do that if you want. It's as simple as that. So let's show you how to do that on the Mixing Station app. Go to the up and down arrows on the top right of the screen, then go to output routing and AES50B, and you can see by default the outputs are routed to out 1 to 16 from the out page and alternate 1 to 16. So by default, your main left-right is on AES50, 15, and 16. On the second console, go to the up and down arrows again and go to the input blocks, and aux ins go all the way down and select user in 1 to 6. Then you're gonna go back and again on the arrows and now go to the user routing. I'm gonna scroll over until I find AES50 AES50B, and you got to unlock the page in order to be able to do any changes. You can see it's locked right now. So I'm going to click on the lock on the top right corner to unlock it. And I'm going to assign input 1 of the user inputs to AES50B 15 and input 2 to AES50B 16. Then I still have to do the rest of the auxes. So I'm gonna scroll over to the right like so until I find the aux in, and I'm gonna assign input 3 of the user inputs to aux in 3, 4 to 4, 5 to 5, 6 to 6. We're not done yet because you still need to go into the arrows right here and go into the input matrix and scroll all the way down until you find your aux channels and swipe over until you find the aux in section. And now you're gonna assign aux in 1 to user in 1. I forgot to unlock it, so I'm going to unlock it. You're going to assign aux in 1 to user in 1, aux 2 to user in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And your aux 7 and 8 are the USB input that you plug into the front of the console. So you can either use that if you want, or if you want to use 2 additional inputs, you can assign it to a local input on the console, like so. And so on the USB channels, you can get a local input if you want. And that's it.